Hello, and welcome to the Burning Disco. This is Caleb Clark bringing you the worst in hip-hop, whether it's albums I don't like or albums just considered bad in general. Today we're going to be talking about the self-titled Lil Pump project by Lil Pump, which sadly does not include the song Lil Pump. Would have been a beautiful trifecta of pump pump pump. So, he's a SoundCloud rapper. If you guys don't know what that is, just go look it up, Wikipedia it. So, let's talk about the music. Just get straight into it. I will say I did sort of enjoy the feature list on this project. None of them are really stretching in the lyric department or really busting out that great of a flow, but I can still enjoy most of them. Let's see. First, there's Smoke My Perps, the one who shows up the most on the album. He's a fellow SoundCloud rapper. He's got more of a chill and self-assured vibe to him that contrasts well with the pretty erratic image of Lil Pump. Lil Yachty surprised me. He came through with more of a chopper verse with just plain old gangsta lyrics and none of the stuff that you usually see him, you know, how Lil Yachty tries to usually be all happy and stuff. He's like, I think I'm gonna just, oh, my Lil Yachty impression is terrible. He basically just goes gangsta. Gucci Mane and 2 Chainz do the usual thing. If you're not already a fan of them, you're not going to become a fan. If you are a fan of them, you're not going to go burn their albums/mixtapes. Chief Keef was easily the worst verse on the album. His zombified style, where he just is completely monotone, as bad as it was under Young Chops, when it gets under more minimalistic beats, it gets worse. And then Rick Ross shows up. He was pretty obviously not trying. He's not really making a flow. Too much of a flow, that is. He's not going for any sort of lyrics. He's barely managing to make words rhyme. And he ends his verse with a variation on Everybody Dies Solo 5 times. But I still found him fun just because of his natural charisma, his voice, the ad-libs. And also he has a little thing where he'll randomly elongate the end of sort of a half bar, I guess, where it's like, everybody dies solo, or everybody still gang gang, which I find, it gives me a little bit hype. Excuse me. Now, let's get into the beats of the man himself. His production choices, I thought weren't that great. Okay, they sucked. The percussion usually tends to be extremely loopy, traps a sort of beat that doesn't try anything new. It's okay. I thought the rim hits were a little bit hard, and the 808s are often pretty distorted. It only really becomes a problem when it starts to crowd out the voice and melody, like on D Rose or Smoke My Dope. Speaking of lead melodies, they're usually sort of a much grittier version of snap melodies, like back in the Laffy Taffy and Crink Dat days, where it's just causes headaches, but gets stuck in your head, and is super cheaply made and basic. Like especially on Smoke My Dope, that they just use a slidey tubular bell that. There were a few beats that were better. Gucci Gang, of course, is slightly better. It goes for more of a piano, adds some layers. Layers on a little pump track. Egads. D Rose, I think D Rose could have been good if they didn't have such a heavy bass. Like the synth line was actually pretty creepy. Youngest Flexer's more of a Lex Luger type, so it's average. And Pinky, I think if I'm speaking honestly, most of my enjoyment for Pinky Ring. Scratch that. I do like the beat for Pinky Ring. It causes headaches, but it's still a banger. Now for the main attraction, the man you've all been waiting for, Lil Pump. Easily one of the top 5 laziest rappers I have listened to. As you probably know, going into this, pretty much all of his lyrics are a plain old cliche, whether or not just sort of random. Like, he references Caillou, Kids Cuisine, his auntie being a parole officer and doing drugs with his grandma. And so it just, whenever he actually tries anything with his lyrics, which is not often, it's just pointless. And he also contributes exactly one verse to every single song, except for Smoke My Dope, which to me is just supremely effortless. Like, he's just like, I think I'll just grab a bunch of cliches, put them on this paper. Is that 16 bars? That's 16 bars. We're good. That just reeks of terrible. His voice is also pretty lethargic. Like, he's, and not in the more interesting ways that it can be lethargic, more of just, he doesn't care, and so he just says it flatly, which is a style I'm not a particular fan of. And so, he's just not that great a rapper. I can see the appeal in memes, because sometimes it would circle back around and become funny. Like on the song Molly, the pure nihilism of his lyrics sort of got to me a little bit, as did his chorus on Foreign. Like, he doesn't make any random racist jokes. He just goes straight to the part where he's talking about all the foreign women and foreign cars in his life. Yeah, it's just, I can see the appeal for the meme. Like, I've enjoyed Lil Pump, 5 songs at once, and Lil Pump, but every time he says such and such, it doubles. Those sort of things. I see why people do them. It's pretty fun, but I think it's giving him too much credit if you're actually going to try to be a fan of the music. That's my overall thoughts. He's no real effort. He's not really trying a whole lot. However, he does keep it pretty brief. Like, most of the songs are under 3 minutes, or barely hit 2 minutes, I should say, probably. And so 15 songs goes in about under 40 minutes. So it's nice. Brevity is slow of wit and all that. And so overall, in the ongoing list, he's currently residing at number 2, right between Flockaveli by Waka Flocka Flame and the Sugarhill Gang by the Sugarhill Gang. Lots of self-titled projects. Well, Lil Pump-Lil Pump. This is Caleb Clark at the Burning Disco, signing off.